Ever felt frustrated being told PMS, heavy bleeding, and cramping are just normal parts of life? You are not alone. I loathed my monthly cycle for decades. That all changed when I earned 3 health coaching certifications discovering something incredible. Your period is vital. It is an outward sign of your inner health, and it holds the key to unlocking your full potential. I've been there battling heavy, painful periods, and I turn them into cycles with minimal PMS and cramping. Today, I'm on a mission to share that information with you. Pour a cup of your favorite drink, get comfy, and grab your headphones as we embark on a candid and empowering journey of self-discovery. Together, we'll demystify menstrual cycles, explore cyclical living, delve into natural birth control, and guide parents through those crucial period talks with tweens and teens. It's time to break the taboo around menstruation and embrace the wisdom it holds. I'm your host, Heather Allmendinger, and this is the Embracing Flow podcast. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me on Embracing Flow. In today's episode, I want to ask a bold question. Why is understanding how our bodies work still considered, quote, alternative? Unquote. Fertility awareness, body literacy, hormonal tracking, these are still considered fringe topics, yet they really should be brought to the forefront because they're essential. Most of us did not grow up learning about them. So today I'm going to be diving into what this is, what it costs us, and how to reclaim that knowledge. I want to rewind a little bit to health class, or kind of wherever you learned about menstrual cycles. I was in 4th grade, and it was they split the class. The boys went into one room, the girls went into another, and we were asked questions, and we were shown different products, and we were told how our bodies worked. And I knew what was going on. I was informed about cycles a lot earlier than my classmates and some of them. So I knew what was going on. I was answering all the questions, but it was still awkward. It was still kind of unusual for us to be talking about that. And the message was simple. Our periods are for having babies, and don't get pregnant. That was the goal. That was the fear. We can get pregnant anytime during our cycles. And so that was our instruction manual. There was no other options. It was birth, and if we had any problems, it was birth control. There was no education around how our bodies worked. No one ever said, hey, your cycle is a powerful tool. It's not just about fertility, it's about your whole body health. That was never, ever said during that health class. That wasn't said in high school health class. I did not learn that information until almost 30 years after I graduated high school. So for years, my friends and I saw fertility as something to control. I didn't even realize you could actually understand it. And what's wild is that in every other area of health, we've been encouraged to track things. We were encouraged to monitor our sleep. We were encouraged to track our workouts and to do workouts. I remember having to do food journals for 30 days in health class in high school, writing down every single tiny piece of food I put in my mouth. And now we have meditation apps and we have Fitbits, and yet tracking your cycle wasn't mentioned. And I didn't even know about tracking my cycle until I was trying to get pregnant with my second child. And I started realizing that if I wanted to, I needed to know what was going on. So why is understanding our cycle still kind of a out there topic? First, I want to redefine kind of what fertility awareness is, because we hear it and it's very much understood. I've gone and I've approached parents, and I've asked fertility, and their face goes white and they're like, you are not teaching my daughter how to get pregnant or how not to get pregnant. Fertility awareness, pregnancy, and that is such a far fringe part of fertility awareness It's not just a natural birth control method, which I would not teach anybody under the age of 18 without a parental consent. I'm not teaching your daughter fertility awareness to tell them when and if they can get pregnant or not. That's just not how fertility awareness works, and in most teachers would not do that. It is not a niche. It's not just a niche for hippie moms or wellness influencers, and it's not a backup for when IVF is too expensive. Fertility awareness is about body literacy. It's about being an informed advocate of your own body. It is about understanding when you ovulate and why it's important, how your energy, your appetite, your libido, and your sleep change through the month, when to push in business or your workouts, and when to rest. When your cycle symptoms are telling you, what are they telling you? For example, ovulation is not just about baby making. I know it keeps going back to baby making, but that's what society has taught us. It's all about baby making and reproduction. Ovulation is actually a sign of health. It is a vital sign of health that is just as important as blood pressure, weight, heart rate, most of the stuff that the doctors do first thing when you walk in the door and your name is called. Those vital signs, ovulation, your cycle is just as important as that. It is a vital marker of your endocrine system functioning well. Your reproductive system connects with all the other bodily systems. So if your reproductive system isn't working correctly, there might be something going on in your endocrine system, your respiratory system, your circulatory system. So your cycle's off again. It's not just it is a huge deal. It can signal thyroid issues, undereating, stress overload, polycystic ovarian syndrome, endometriosis, even if it's just heavy bleeding, painful cycles, PMS. These are all examples of a system that is dysfunctional in some way. Yet when we go to our practitioner and we tell our practitioner that we're having issues, we're handed a prescription for birth control without a conversation, other than you stop taking it, you can get pregnant. And I know that is a fallacy. I struggled for 14 months of secondary infertility, unexplained infertility, after stopping hormonal birth control. I have come across many, many beautiful women who were on hormonal birth control, were told the same thing, and they ended up having to do IVF or struggling with their fertility, even though they were told, oh, yeah, just stop taking the medication and you'll be fine. If for some reason we aren't handed that prescription for birth control without that conversation, and we're in the fertility clinics and we're fast tracked to fertility clinics before ever learning what cervical mucus is. Cervical mucus is extremely important. It keeps those sperm alive for that conception to occur. And we're told that ovulation equals fertility window, not realizing that it's a cornerstone of whole body health. I didn't learn a lot of this until I was in my mid 40s when I had a health scare. I was diagnosed with precancerous cervical cells, and I had them removed. And I was asked, do you want to go on birth control? And I heard a tiny little voice say, wait, let your body fight this virus that I had and see what happens. I had 6 months to kind of let my body, from the time the procedure happened until the time I had to go back for a retest. And that small voice that just said, wait. And I did. And that's when I learned about fertility awareness. That's when I wanted to work with pregnant women. And my mentor said to me, Heather, what do you think about going and talking to those that are trying to conceive? Going on those trying to conceive boards, finding out what is going on, giving them all that value and information that you have, And that's what I did. And oh my goodness, were my eyes opened. I had beautiful, beautiful women on the trying to conceive boards that didn't understand that there's only a 24-hour window, 12 to 24-hour window where an egg, an ovulated egg will accept sperm. Only once an egg is ovulated and it enters the fallopian tube, it will only accept sperm for 12 to 24 hours. That's it. Most of us were told egg plus sperm equals baby, that we can get pregnant any time during our cycle, which is a misconception. The other one that I kept seeing time and time and time and time and time again is that they knew or ovulation, they confirmed ovulation through an ovulation predictor kit. An ovulation predictor kit tests for the luteinizing hormone. Luteinizing hormone rises and plateaus about 24 to 36 hours before ovulation. So ovulation hadn't occurred yet, but they're counting as that being ovulation. And then they were taking a pregnancy test 8 days after that LH test positive. The statistics on positive pregnancy tests 8 days after ovulation is 0.002%. So I see these women going on these roller coasters every single month, and I'm like, this needs to stop. This is driving me. I understood that struggle because, like I said earlier, I struggled with unexplained secondary infertility for 14 months because I didn't understand. I didn't have this information that I now have. So between my experience and what I learned afterwards, I'm sharing with you. So besides reproduction, and there is more of a real cost to this cultural blind spot. When women don't understand their cycles, we misinterpret our own signals. We think PMS means we're just emotional. And that's incorrect. We're not just emotional. It's if there's PMS, our hormones are out of alignment and we can naturally place them back into alignment. We think low libido is just getting older, that we have to deal with it. I'm happy to tell you, no. Low libido is not just about getting older. You can have a high libido even later in life. We think brain fog, fatigue, and anxiety are personality flaws or mental health problems, when often they are huge hormonal flags. Again, your hormones are out of alignment and can be placed back in alignment naturally without a lot of work. I've done it without a lot of, in a short period of time, without a lot of work. It's just understanding it. Here's also the truth. Your menstrual cycle is a diagnostic tool to your entire body. Your luteal phase, which is the time from ovulation to the day before menstruation starts, is a natural check-in system. And your ovulation is a sign of your vitality. But without fertility awareness and without awareness of this information, here's what we settle for. Normalizing that period pain that disrupts life. We just have to live with it. And I'm calling BS on that. You do not have to live with pain. Periods are designed to be pain-free. I want to say that again. Periods are designed to be pain-free. If you are experiencing anything more than mild pain during your period, your body is saying something is out of alignment, and it is up to you to try and figure it out or find somebody that is aware of fertility awareness to help you figure out where this pain is coming from. Over relying on medications to shut off symptoms. There is a place for medication and there is a place for doctors. And I have come to the realization that traditional doctors have earned doctorates of medication. Medication is to reduce the symptoms and to shut off the symptoms instead of finding the root cause of these symptoms. And we rely on medications to shut off the symptoms so we can feel good. We need to step back and see what our body is trying to tell us with those symptoms see what that root cause is, and then go and do what is needed to help reduce the impact of that root cause. So feeling like we're broken when we're not broken. We're not broken if we have PMS. We're not broken if we have heavy cycles, painful cycles. We're not broken. And we're not broken if we don't know this information. We're just not informed. And this isn't just about individuals, it's systemic. It really is truly systemic. We aren't teaching this in schools. I keep getting asked, Heather, are you teaching what you teach in schools? I would absolutely love to get into schools and teach this to our fourth, fifth, sixth grade children, as well as those in high school. And if I can't get into schools, I'm going to do it outside of schools because it is so important. We aren't really training doctors. There's only a few programs that I've seen that actually go and train doctors to look for patterns in natural cycles. One of those programs is through the Fertility Education and Medical Management. That's where I got my certification in fertility awareness. They have a medical management program for doctors that teach them the fertility education and medical management protocols that me as a teacher also learned, but then they are able to do the testing. I look at clients' charts and I can see issues and I recommend them to medical management. They go to medical management. They know that they've been trained by a certified teacher. And medical management can help look at what's going on and address something quicker than most OBGYNs because they don't have the information they need and they're not trained in that information. But we've also made hormonal suppression the default and self-knowledge the exception. Only 3% of the world's population understands fertility awareness, is an informed advocate of their health when it comes to fertility. 3% of the world's population. That is not a lot. And we wonder why IVF has gone through the roof. We wonder why PCOS is now huge. We wonder why all of the... We're at a state where I believe the human society is ready to learn this. And we're ready to unlearn what we have been taught for decades. We're realizing that understanding our cycles isn't anti-science. It actually is science. It's personalized, informed consent medicine. If you are still unfamiliar with fertility awareness, whether you are 14 or you're 70, it's not too late. I was in my mid-40s when I found fertility awareness and I found cyclical living, and I've had the best non-medicated cycles in my entire life with fertility awareness. I've had short cycles that are 18 days. I knew when my period was going to arrive. I've had cycles that were 50 days, and I knew when my period was going to arrive, and I knew why it was arriving 23 days late or 25 days late. And I was a traditional 28-day cycler. And I'm watching my cycles change as I age. Again, it is not too late to learn this information for yourself, to learn this information for your children, to teach your daughters and your sons this information. Because when we as a society understand the importance of fertility awareness, we are better friends, we are better partners, we are better parents, we are better coworkers, and we are better leaders. We get to model this for the next generation. We can ask better questions, and we get to work with our bodies versus against them. And I don't know about you, but I prefer living in harmony with my body instead of fighting with it every single day. So if you just started learning to track or you're deep into the rhythm of cyclical living, welcome. You are a wise individual. If you would like to learn more and you're feeling behind, you're not. You're not behind. You're exactly on time to begin. I would love to hear what you would wish to have known sooner about your cycle. You can tag me, you can DM me, you can shoot me a message on most social media. One thing I want to remind you before I go, our cycles, our doctor's visits every single month. They tell you what's going on inside if we only just listen. If you would, all the links that with FEM, where to find me, they can be found in the show notes, how to get in contact with me. Tell me your stories. I want to thank you for spending your time with me today. If you found a nugget of wisdom or a moment of empowerment, my mission is accomplished. Do you know someone who could benefit from this information? Please share Embracing Flow with them. Until next time, love hard, laugh often, and as always, be vividous. Talk to you soon. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow the show, submit a rating and review, and share it with your friends. Visit my website, embracingflowpodcast.com, to receive your free guide on 4 ways to decrease PMS. The link is in the show notes. Information shared on the Embracing Flow podcast is for educational purposes only. It does not constitute medical advice. Until next time, love hard, laugh often, and always be vividous.